So in this video, we're going to look at an easy method of texturing our models utilizing Polypaint. So to get started polypainting, you need your model. And in this example, I have my model. I got my details in. I did the Z-remesh process and I gave it some UVs. But you don't necessarily need UVs to polypaint. So to get started polypainting, let's go up to the top here and we're going to turn off Z-Add and turn on RGB. And this will just let ZBrush know that we want to not sculpt, but we want to paint. So then I'm just on my standard brush. The standard brush is a great place to start for poly painting. I can go to the color and then I can dock this whole palette over here because it has some tools we like. So first things first, we can just get right in. We can select a color. We can press fill object, which will be like a paint bucket, mass fill to put in a color, and then you can just start changing the color of your brush and start painting. The key here, making sure you have RGB on and Z-Add off. So now you can just, start painting like you would expect to be able to. And while painting, things like your Z intensity will work. And if you want to like smooth, like say I make a mark here and I want to like smooth the color in between, if I hold shift and turn Z-Add off on my smooth tool, you can smooth the polypaint colors, which is a cool little thing you can do. So, you're painting around with just your brush and you can change like the alpha of your brush to something crazy, which will affect the the brush itself. If I try like this one, so play around with the alphas, who knows what effect you'll get. Now another cool thing, if let's say I go to like white color here and I switch this alpha to like this one here, and then I change my stroke mode to drag rectangle. Now I can drag on an alpha to define some of the colors. And it's a great way, if you find an appropriate alpha, to add some quick, texturing to your model. So poly painting is a really powerful tool, and it lets you do some simple texturing right inside of ZBrush without having to go to another program. So if you just want to use ZBrush as like the end rendering program, then this is kind of all you need to do. Paint up your texture and you're good to go. But if you want to use a different program, you're actually able to export this painting data as a color map to another program. So in order to do that, first thing you need to make sure is that your model has UVs on it. So mine does. And then if we come down to texture map on the tool palette here, texture map, and then go to create, and then create new from Polypaint. When we press that, it'll create a new texture map based on our Polypaint data on our UVs. And then we can go ahead and export this as a map to bring into another program, like Marmoset. So to export it, you just have to, after you create from Polypaint, press Clone Texture. Then you can go up to the Texture tab up here, and in this spot here, you should see your texture. Then you select on it, and then you can export it, and then bring it wherever you want it to be. So, poly painting is pretty simple to get started, and a great way to add some color, add some life, add some character to your model.